pay $4,400 for a Mitas Tudor Black Bay monochrome. You pay almost $10,000 for a Rolex Submariner. And a Royal Oak Extra Thin, it costs like $36,000. Cheap is not a word that applies.
A watch is often blurred. However, when you come to Guangzhou, you cannot see any problem just by looking at the appearance. What you need to be careful about is that the low quality movement inside will be sold at a high price.
My suggestion is you can try it first or buy it for a legal way. I'm Sean. See you next time.
95% of the world's watches are made here, including the one you're wearing right now. Many big brand watches are produced or sourced for parts from here. This place is Shenzhen City, the world watch capital city. And in Shenzhen, you must not miss this factory.
Asking y'all should receive. Tisa, where are the watch manufacturers? I did some digging and I found the watch manufacturers. There is a new scandal coming out of the luxury watch division. Listen, if you want to keep going to Rolex, if you want to keep going to AP and spending your money, go and do that. However, industry insiders are coming out and I have their videos. People have even been fired from it for lifting the hood away from the ugly.
Rolex just sent shockwaves through the entire luxury watch industry. In an unprecedented move, the company officially slashed prices on some of its most iconic timepieces. This isn't some seasonal sale or flashy promotion. It's a full-blown strategic retreat. For decades, Rolex has stood as a symbol of prestige, commanding prices that often soared above $40,000. But now, all of that mystique is crumbling. The reason? Chinese manufacturers have pulled back the curtain. Through leaked factory footage and viral online reports, people saw how these watches could be made for less than $500. That truth didn't just shake customers, it enraged them. Suddenly, a brand once considered untouchable was exposed for its massive markups, and the backlash hit hard and fast. Everything began unraveling when Chinese watchmakers decided to drop receipts. They posted videos showing the real process behind manufacturing high-end watches. Viewers were stunned to discover that craftsmanship, materials, and technology that seemed exclusive to Rolex could actually be replicated at a fraction of the cost. Detailed breakdowns of material sourcing, labor pricing, and production steps made it clear Rolex was charging luxury prices for something that could be made for under $500. Chinese experts didn't sugarcoat anything. They said what many feared. People are paying for a name, not real value. Social media exploded with these videos, especially on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Even communities on luxury forums and Reddit started questioning the whole concept of value in the luxury watch market. The illusion had been shattered. Instead of confronting the controversy head-on, Rolex chose silence. No grand statements, no damage control press conferences, just subtle updates sent out to authorized dealers. Sharp-eyed collectors and insiders quickly noticed that models like the Submariner and Datejust were quietly reduced by thousands of dollars in price. Some regions reported cuts as steep as $3,000 or more. Rolex tried to pass it off as a simple market adjustment, but everyone knew better. This wasn't strategic pricing, it was panic. The once unshakable confidence Rolex held was replaced with quiet desperation. Price slashes from a brand known for never blinking are a massive deal. And now the real question on everyone's mind is, are these changes the start of honest transparency, or is Rolex just trying to contain a wildfire? Among die-hard collectors and longtime fans, the reaction was anything but calm. Some felt outright betrayed, especially those who had just purchased the same models at full price. The resale value of their collections is now at risk, and what was once seen as a smart investment suddenly feels like a poor financial move. On the other hand, new buyers flooded in, seeing this as their one chance to own a Rolex without breaking the bank. It created a massive divide in the watch community. Luxury forums became battlegrounds between those defending brand heritage and those welcoming change. Influencers on TikTok joked about Rolex getting humbled by Alibaba. Some even compared Rolex's recent moves to a brand identity crisis. Whether it's panic or progress, one thing is clear: Rolex will never be viewed the same way again. The ripple effect of Rolex's decision is starting to spread throughout the luxury industry in ways that few could have anticipated just a few years ago. Long considered the undisputed leader in high-end timepieces, Rolex's stumble has become a case study in how quickly the tides can turn when consumer sentiment shifts. Other elite watchmakers such as Omega, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet are reportedly watching the situation with extreme caution. These brands, once insulated by prestige and long-standing reputation, now find themselves under the same scrutiny that Rolex is currently enduring. If Rolex, arguably the most iconic and widely recognized name in the watch world, can be publicly questioned, challenged, and pressured into adjusting its image and practices, then no luxury brand is safe. The idea that a high-end product can command exorbitant prices solely based on its name is being dismantled in real time. What used to be considered timeless tradition is now being questioned as outdated marketing. The younger generation of buyers, especially Gen Z and millennials, no longer see heritage as a sufficient reason to part with thousands of dollars. They're more inclined to ask, what am I paying for, really? Is it the craftsmanship, or is it just the story I've been sold? These are not passive consumers. They research, compare, read reviews, and are constantly plugged into global conversations via platforms like Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube. That constant connectivity has made it nearly impossible for brands to maintain the veil of mystique that once protected them from critique. Chinese manufacturing has played a pivotal role in this disruption. With advances in precision technology and access to global supply chains, Chinese watchmakers can now replicate, or in some cases even outperform, the quality of traditional Swiss models at a fraction of the price. Their efficiency, scale, and direct-to-consumer models are challenging the deeply embedded pricing structures of Western luxury brands. And they're not just copying, they're innovating too. The combination of affordable materials, intelligent design, and savvy marketing has made these alternatives both attractive and credible. The rise of well-made homage watches and micro-brands with transparent pricing and sustainable practices is making it harder than ever for established giants to justify their enormous premiums. The internet has become the great equalizer in this transformation. Consumers are no longer at the mercy of glossy magazine ads or mysterious boutique showrooms. They can compare watches side by side, learn about movement calibers, inspect finishing quality, and hear directly from people who've worn the products daily. This democratization of information is stripping the luxury industry of its protective layers. Fancy brand names and vague claims of exclusivity don't hold as much power in a world where a $300 watch can be taken apart and reviewed in high definition next to a $10,000 one, and come out looking shockingly similar. Even celebrities, who once served as luxury's most powerful marketing tools, are starting to pivot. For decades, the presence of a Rolex on a celebrity's wrist in a music video, paparazzi shot, or Instagram post was a signal of having made it. But that signal is changing. Some stars have gone noticeably quiet, no longer tagging or referencing the brand in their posts. A few have openly expressed frustration with the pressure to promote overpriced pieces that no longer align with their values. Others have started showcasing independent or lesser-known watchmakers, favoring unique designs or custom pieces over mass-marketed luxury. This shift among celebrities is particularly damaging because it speaks to a change in status. Symbols. People are moving away from what's obviously expensive to what's meaningfully valuable or stylistically interesting. Influencers, many of whom built their following on aspirational content, are increasingly pulling back the curtain. Some have confessed to being paid by luxury brands to subtly promote exclusivity, not just the product. Now, those same influencers are publishing videos comparing Rolex to Chinese alternatives and questioning whether the price difference is truly about quality or simply branding. Watch reviewers on YouTube are taking apart both authentic Rolexes and their dupes, and reporting that, in terms of daily performance, durability, and visual appeal, the differences are smaller than most would expect. TikTokers with massive reach are going viral by flaunting affordable timepieces that look indistinguishable from their luxury counterparts. One particularly popular clip featured a user boasting a $200 watch that mirrored a Rolex Submariner, saying, "I saved so much. Money I could buy a car with what I didn't spend." Fashion bloggers and content creators who once exclusively featured top-tier brands are also changing course. Many have shifted their focus to micro brands or direct-to-consumer companies that prioritize transparency and innovation. The prestige that once came from showing off the biggest brand name now comes from demonstrating that you've done your homework, that you know about hidden gems and can spot value where others are still chasing old narratives. Watch culture, especially among younger audiences, is starting to prioritize function, form, and story over price and pedigree. All of this places Rolex in a delicate and critical position. The brand stands at a crossroads and must decide what kind of future it wants to build. One path is to double down on exclusivity, restricting availability even more, tightening distribution, and increasing the sense of mystique. This might preserve some of the allure among traditional collectors, but could further alienate new generations who are demanding transparency. The other path is riskier but potentially more rewarding: to open up, embrace transparency, and justify prices through innovation, better materials, ethical practices, and true differentiation. Simply relying on decades-old narratives will no longer be enough. The ripple effects don't stop there. Other brands are already reacting. Behind closed doors, discussions about price adjustments and rebranding strategies are happening. No one wants to be the next brand called out or dissected on social media. Resale markets are also bracing for impact, as trust in luxury watch valuations starts to waver. If people no longer believe that a Rolex, or any luxury watch, will retain or appreciate in value, the incentive to spend big disappears. A shakeup in the resale ecosystem could cause long-term instability, affecting collectors, dealers, and casual buyers alike. What we are witnessing could very well be the dawn of a new era in the luxury watch world. An era where brand loyalty is earned, not assumed, where the value of a product must be proven, not just implied, where smaller, more agile brands can carve out space alongside the giants by offering something authentic and meaningful. The established players like Rolex must now choose whether to evolve or risk becoming relics of a bygone era. One thing is certain: the old rules no longer apply, and the future of luxury will be defined by those bold enough to adapt. So what happens next could rewrite the entire rulebook for luxury. Rolex must now figure out what kind of company it wants to be moving forward. Will they evolve with the times or cling to the past? The eyes of the world and the wallets of consumers are watching closely. There's no going back to the era of silent pricing power and unquestioned loyalty. Once the illusion is broken, it's nearly impossible to rebuild. If Rolex makes the right moves, they may survive the storm. But if they fumble, they could become a case study in how even the mightiest luxury brands can fall. This isn't just a wake-up call for Rolex, it's a siren for the entire industry. Time's up and everyone knows it. What do you think? Did Rolex deserve to get exposed? Do these price cuts make you more likely to buy one? Or are you thinking twice now? Is this a sign that luxury brands are finally being held accountable for decades of markups and mystique? Let us know what side of the debate you're on in the comments below. Hit that like button if you think the truth should always beat the hype. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next big expose. Rolex just blinked, and it may have changed luxury forever. The game is different now. Are you still wearing the crown, or are you ready to move on?